You're back live, sir.
Okay. Where was I?
We were finishing up on the Connex, I think. And you were talking about a smoke room configuration with Bob. And we did HVAC on, talked about a mini split for that room, or that building he just did.
Right.
I think that's where we stopped, or we got bumped.
Okay.
Soon, all right.
Is Tim in the waiting room?
Not yet. As soon as he gets in there, though, I'll bring him on. You do have a quorum, though.
Okay. Well, now, Bob, is there a breaker panel in that building?
Yes.
Okay. So it's got a little bit of amperage, so we could possibly put a mini split in there.
Yes. Probably have to insulate the ceiling.
Is that possible?
Yes, I just have it sprayed.
Okay. I've got a hard stop at 2:00. One of the other things I wanted to accomplish before we move forward, I wanted John to brief us on the timetable, if you will, for developing next year's budget and formulation of ideas. So whatever we come up with, we do have this apparently around 40 in the budget for technical equipment. So, there is monies there for, I think, in excess for configuring these things in smoke mazes. We've got to figure out a method by which we can make some progress to identifying what we need. I don't know. Kurt, have you had a chance to look at anything, or Dustin?
I just did a quick search, and, there's companies out there that do it. But for me, it just looked like it's pretty simple. If we go ahead and get them, installed and leveled, we could just build them from the, however we want to do it. Put doors where we want them, windows where we want them. Probably need to have some sort of exhaust system to rapidly evacuate the smoke for emergencies, which we probably pick up some used exhaust fans or old, smoke ejectors and just have them pre-wired on a hot switch. Something of that nature. But like I said, I've got 3. I don't know how many you want. You can have all 3 if you want them. You can have 2. I've seen several designs where they have the first 2 on the ground and then one stacked on top of another for a second floor. That would probably require some sort of metal fire escape.
So we've got the pad, and I don't know what shape. There was lighting in the old building and exhaust fans in the old building. I don't know where the conduit runs might be or how they come up through that pad, but it seems like it's a very economical, doable thing for us. So what we need to do is set an aggressive, well, not an aggressive, but set a time frame for coming up with some ideas and sharing them, and being ready for the next board meeting to discuss them and maybe try to select a format we want. So that's going to take, you can talk about it, but somebody's going to have to do some work, and we can do that. I'll work with you, Kurt, if you're willing to do it together.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't mind helping at all, or I can send one of my guys to help. I can have Randy or Ronnie, either one.
Yeah, that'd be good.
As far as the setup, I don't know that we want to stack them. I don't know that we want to stack one up top. I'm not sure we don't get into needing some structural engineering if we start doing that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and just bear in mind, we have the industrial brigade in particular, and we shouldn't lose sight of it for our public sector either. It's got to pass muster, Dustin, and so we don't want to put something that's not going to pass muster with all of our clients and everything we need to do. So it'll be OSHA compliant, obviously. And then we'll, once we develop the configuration with a goal toward, finishing up by the end of June, and we'll develop the budget and see if there's room to do some other things. I think we had talked in the past about classroom equipment. Bob, are we still outstanding, any of the classroom equipment ideas?
The only thing, one of the things we looked at, we've got 2 of the glass boards changed out. So you don't have that permanent inking on the boards. And one of the things we discussed was putting a sound system on the displays toward the back of the room. Most of that's wireless now.
Okay.
So that you can get an even amount of sound from your screen there.
Yeah. I got a text from somebody went down there and somebody had run off with HDMI cords at some point. That's been a while. And I thought that's marvelous. Okay.
No more expensive than they are. I should probably have some in the storeroom put back so when that happens or they tear your end up.
Can't remember. Maybe I think Semper's ran into that with Avonic training.
Other than that, the facility's working really well.
Okay. Well, does anybody else got any other ideas that they'd like to further? I mean, I kind of tossed out the HVAC idea. Anybody want to, comment on that or have discussions on that? I think that would make that space an auxiliary space and give it some more flexibility. I don't know what that project would cost.
I can get the numbers together for that.
Okay. Well, with that said, John, on budget development, it's January. It's a good time for New Year's resolutions and being prepared for the cycle moving forward. So give us a primer on budget prep, how the time frame works, et cetera.
What I'm doing with most of the boards right now is I'm setting up and asking them to come up with their capital needs list and then a capital wants list. Capital need, then prioritize each. Biggest concern is what is truly your need versus what is a want. We have issues. I don't know how things are going to turn out in the overall as far as finances. So what I'm asking for that is just in the next month. I don't know, you meet monthly, right? Or every other month?
Monthly, but it ends up being every other month. I mean, maybe.
Well, if you're going
We
every
meet
other
as
month,
needed.
if you're going every other month, then I will say, go ahead and see if you can get that information. I'll submit those to Gene beforehand. They'll even compile or someone compile that. And then you guys at your next meeting, make the decisions on those. Operating costs, we can figure those in-house as far as that goes. That's not necessarily something you guys should have to worry about. Biggest thing is that I need what your capital needs and what your capital wants are. So that'll help us. And if you can do that by March and have it approved by March and ready to go, that's what I'd like to have.
Got that, Kerry?
Sir?
We'll make sure that our note takers got that by March.
Yeah. While your meeting in March would be helpful.
What does that mean? You want our final budget numbers by March?
There's Tim.
We need to develop our ideas by March.
Now, I would say your ideas in by February, then you're pull it together, and then in March you can take that and decide on your priorities.
March, you're looking for budgetary numbers broken down in 2 categories.
Yeah. But like I said, operating costs, I wouldn't worry with that. We can take care of that pretty much. We know what your basic operating costs are going to be, and we can actually compute that. What we need is to know what your projects are.
Okay.
Or what your wants are for that. And the estimated costs on them.
Do you want to say anything about city finances in this difficult year? I mean, what's the mayor and yours and Glenn's expectations? Don't know.
Right now, I expect them to be down a little bit. I don't know how much they'll be down because there have been some increases as well as decreases. And so we don't know what our net is just yet. We also don't know, we got an idea of what our what we should get from property taxes. However, they're not all in. We've got about 25% of our property tax in, so we don't know for sure where we stand on that as far as the ultimate dollar figure. And with CCMA out and then some layoffs at Ashland, we're not sure how that's going to affect our payroll tax on that portion of it. On the other hand, we've had some good revenues out of our insurance tax. So that may offset that. We're not sure just yet. Right now, I'm looking at either flush or a little under. I don't think it's going to be significant, but I can't guarantee that either. Expenses, as far as expenses go, they're all in good shape. No one is. We've got some close, but nobody that's over. So that's beneficial too. And you guys have a large amount of money still in there, so you still have some contractual stuff coming up, in the spring, and with cleaning and mowing, etc. But that's not going to be anything significant either. And there should be enough money in there that if you guys want to or have to have money for that conversion on those connexes, you should have that pretty well covered by what you've got in your budget, I would think.
It'll
I
take
think
more.
I think it's going to be easy.
But yeah, so if you guys can pull something together to get your preliminaries in February and then put it together and get your priorities by March, that'll help us, because I really would like by May to present to the council. Early part of May, if not April. If I would love to do April, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I would love to do April.
Yeah, and I think the overall mood of the council is wait and see. I mean, this is a tumultuous time for our economy, and the budgetary mood for the council is just would really want to hold back on a lot of things and to see how we land, and it's not appropriate to be doing a lot of expenditures, and I believe in the capital list overall for the city. It's going to be kind of hold what you got and to make sure we've had a lot of progress in the last 3 or 4 years, and so it's time to get down to taking care of what you built and make sure it's all right. And I think that's the mood of the council. One council member's opinion, so that's worth what you just paid for it. So we're looking at having certainly numbers more or less finalized in April.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay. All right. With that said, I've got a hard stop at 2:00. Has anybody got any new business I want to bring up? Okay. And you guys are awful compliant today. We need Fred in here to mix some things up.
Gene,
All right.
I'll have your Christmas tree numbers here end of the week or first.
Okay. Well, Bob, if you bring those on in, maybe we'll have a special call to go ahead and deal with that as a singular issue, and see if we want to go that route.
Okay. But I know that's where we're going to land. Is somewhere under the 4.
Mm-hmm. And it's certainly a priority. We have some of our industrial crews, that's big fire, and that's the confidence builder at prop, and that's one that gets a lot of use. So that's a pretty high priority for us.
Yeah.
And John, we looked all over. I looked pretty extensively trying to find some of the standards for the design of that thing, and really couldn't find anything on since that is the low pressure end. That's the fire end of it. So I think we're good to go with the design kind of copycat there. So I think we've done due diligence and looking and trying to find guidance on that.
Good deal.
The biggest danger is you build something and we don't have any longevity out of it. So we know that's kind of that's a burner tip. That's a big burner tip. So they do take wear and tear, and they do need maintenance and some cost. So If this one give us good performance, and Bob's going to be working off more something that looks like a specification that we can replicate, so we can see what we do with this one and see what kind of life we have out of it, and see if we have any suggested changes as we move forward. I think that's probably the best approach here. Okay, well, with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
All right, there's a motion.
Second.
All gone then. Keep your ears open. If Bob comes back with a bid to consider like Christmas tree, we'll probably do a special call just to consider that and allow that to progress.
Okay.
All right. Well, Kurt, you and I need to get together and we'll draft Dustin to take a look at some smoke mazes in. All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
All
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.